The lesson that I have for you today is I'm going to add one more very important because we're talking about B1 vocabulary, and this vocabulary is commonly used. So it's more at an intermediate level, but I think these phrases are phrases that you should definitely know and really be able to actively use when you're having a conversation. And that is why I say this is B1 vocabulary you need to know so that it'll allow you to just speak more confidently. And also, I wanted to let you know, if you're interested in joining my speaking course, check out the link down below in the description. The course is all about helping you speak confidently, speak clearly, speak naturally. Check out the links down below, and you can use the discount code if you wish to enroll. So let's go ahead and jump into it. This is a quiz lesson. I want you to participate. Even if you're a little shy, it's okay. Write your answers in the chat, in the comments. I just love hearing from you. And the first question says, come on, lighten up. It was just a joke. Where's your I've kind of highlighted the portion that's missing, and I've given you the meaning down below. So there are 3 words in this B1 phrase, and it refers to your ability to understand funny things. And this is like somebody would say this, oh, come on, lighten up. It was just a joke. Where's your what? Very useful phrase, very common, especially in this context because, well, people use this phrase in different ways. I will say probably a more difficult phrase is that first one, somebody saying lighten up. Lighten up just means like relax, calm down. It's not a big deal. It was just a joke. Where's your sense of humor? Well done, Lali, Julia, Katerina. So if you're talking about someone's sense of humor, it refers to the ability that someone has to say, oh, okay, yes, this is funny, or I understand the joke. And you could say somebody has a great sense of humor or a fun sense of humor. There are a lot of different collocations that you could use with this phrase, or even somebody asking that question, where's your sense of humor? Come on, lighten up. Where's your sense of humor? Let's look at the next one. Right? Oh, actually, I wanted to point out one quick thing because, of course, and I forgot to introduce myself. I'm sorry. If this is your first time here, my name is Wes. The channel is Interactive English. It's all about helping you reach your fluency goals. So I am from the US, and that's kind of why I wanted to introduce myself. There are some differences in spelling, as many of you may know, with a variety of words. Humor is one of those. So in the US, we'd spell it H-U-M-O-R, and in the UK and British English, H-U-M-O-U-R. And there are other words, for example, color is a similar word that has a spelling difference. So just something to keep in mind. Let's go ahead, look at the next one. Any furniture you buy must be cheap, attractive, and all practical. The meaning of this phrase, and maybe you can't see it, I blanked out one word, all means most importantly. So I'm listing these different things, and then, of course, I get to that last one, most importantly, practical. Now, what phrase could we use that means most importantly? And it's going to have the word all in it. Any furniture you buy must be cheap, attractive, and practical. This is like something I would say probably because I'm a bit frugal. And of course, my wife would say that I'm more cheap. And I would say, yes, we're looking at furniture. It should be cheap, attractive, and all practical. So, and this is B1 vocabulary. I think you should definitely know it. I see some great answers. Excellent. Manuel, Orlali, Takayo, above all. So if you're talking about these different things and then you want to say, well, most importantly, you can use this phrase, above all. Any furniture you buy must be cheap, attractive, and above all, practical. This is, again, what I would say. Probably, I don't know if I would include attractive because I don't know. I don't really care. I would just say it must be cheap and above all, practical. Or probably I would say it must be practical and above all, cheap. All right, so the next one, again, very important phrases. And I'm going to keep stressing that as we go through this because this is B1. These are phrases that you are going to actively come across when you're having a conversation, you're listening to a podcast, you're watching a TV show or movie. What do you think? Our little girl didn't go to school because she, There are 3 words. I'm not giving you much apart from the indefinite article there. I think you're going to be able to put this together. We're referring to when the measured amount of heat in the body is higher than normal, often indicating an illness. I had to play around with the meaning because when I was putting it together, basically the phrase was in the meaning. Okay, I think this is probably, I don't want to say too easy, but it is commonly used. I think you know it. Our little girl didn't go to school. Why would somebody maybe not go to school? Because she, right? The measured amount of heat in the body is higher than normal. There are a few different ways that you could say this. So, of course, somebody says, well, somebody has a fever. That's perfect. Yes, that works. Or somebody's running a temperature. That also works. In this case, though, the phrase that I think is often used, but all of them I think are very common because we can all relate to this. Have a temperature. So if somebody has a temperature, that's basically what it means. The amount of heat in the body, when I was putting this together, it kept saying the temperature of your body is higher than normal, indicating an illness. And you could say, I have a temperature. Now, going back to my point of there are different ways to say this, so it's not like there's only one answer. I want to talk about a few different ways you can talk about this. All of them I think are commonly used. And just to show you that, as far as getting a better understanding is which one's more common, that's when we can use Ngram Viewer to check out the frequency of words and phrases. So I'm comparing all of these down below. They mean the same thing. To have a temperature, to have a fever, running a temperature, or running a fever. And just looking at this list right here, I was, to be honest, I was a little surprised. Have a fever is the most commonly used. I guess I shouldn't say I'm that surprised. I guess I'm surprised at how much more frequently used it is. So have a fever and then running a fever. So I think the main takeaway is that it is more common for people to use the word fever instead of temperature. But either one, they mean the same thing. One thing I want to point out when talking about these phrases is that when you're saying like you have a temperature versus you are running a temperature, you're going to use running a temperature in the continuous tense as well as running a fever. So just keep that in mind. We're going to use that ing. If I said, well, right now I have a temperature versus right now I'm running a temperature or I'm running a fever. So just that distinction with the verb, the running within the continuous tense. Let's look at the next one. This is true. I'm always fishing for these calls to these different call to actions. I would hit the like button. So this is used when you give someone advice. So it's like I'm giving you advice and I would say something. I would hit the like button. I think there are probably multiple phrases that you could use to give you a little bit of a hint to kind of take you where I'm going. Think about the grammar, especially in the independent clause. Think about the grammar and the meaning of that first part. It is used when you give someone advice. I would hit the like button. What phrase can we use whenever you want to give someone advice? This is commonly used. I've done a number of lessons talking about this, mostly grammar lessons, and we're going to use this phrase. So I told you to think about the grammar, that would hit the like button using would plus the base verb, and the phrase is, drum roll, actually no drum roll necessary, if I were you. Well done, Julia, Takayo, Manuel. Cinderella, yes, you made it. Magical one, thanks for joining our community, becoming a member. I love it. And Lolly, good job. So if I were you, I would hit the like button. This is me kind of, giving you advice, kind of asking you to go ahead and hit the like button. In this case, somebody mentioned press. I would say hit the like button, but I feel like it's more, I don't know if it's cooler to say smash the like button. That is something I think a lot of the younger content creators are using, smash that like button. I don't think I would use a word like press, is not commonly used in this context. So let's go back and talk about this structure. If I were you, I would. This is the second conditional, which refers to an unlikely or hypothetical condition and its probable results. So we have those two parts, condition, result. In the condition, we're going to use the past simple. And in the result, would plus the base verb. So here are some examples down here. If I were you, I would hit the like button. That was the sentence we just had. If I were you, I would keep building your vocabulary. And finally, I would click the link in the description if I were you. I'm moving it to the back. So the result can come before the condition, and then we just remove that comma. The other thing I wanted to say, which I didn't put up here, and I don't know why, this is an example of the subjunctive. So if I were you, if he were you, she were you, and we are going to use that subjunctive. You may hear people in colloquial speech like, if I was you, and they say, if I was. However, I don't think, I would recommend, I would encourage you just to use the subjunctive in this case. I think it is more accurate if I were you. I say accurate grammatically speaking. So let's go ahead and look at the next one. I love seeing so many members here participating. Manuel, Vicky, Lolly, Teresa, excellent. Love having everybody here. I was of, I've given you a couple of words, even though it may not help. Eating dinner when I got your message. The meaning of this phrase is to be busy with an activity. I was of eating dinner when I got your message. I think this is a phrase, I know that you've heard it. I would imagine you may use this right now because I told you these are B1 phrases. They are incredibly common. You're doing this activity and you're basically commenting. Instead of saying, well, look, I was busy with this activity when I got your message. We're just going to use this phrase. And the phrase we are talking about, excellent, in the middle of doing something. I see some other answers. In this case, I would stick within the middle. You're not really going to use like in the process. I feel like in the process sounds very formal. Maybe if you're talking about like some academic, you're doing some testing or something. Well, I was in the process of doing this. Just casually speaking, I would say I was in the middle of eating dinner when I got your message. One thing to keep in mind, in the middle of, and then you're going to follow that with the gerund. Sometimes this is when people will make slight speaking mistakes and the infinitive will slip in there and they'll say in the middle of to do something. Just keep in mind you're going to use the gerund. In the middle of doing something. In the middle of. How about this next question for you, my next B1 challenge for you. You should review new vocabulary every so often. It means usually or in most situations. And then follow it with this word. This is I would say an introductory phrase when you're getting ready to say, well, in most situations, you should do this, or you need to do this, or it would be wise to do that. I almost used it right now, and that is something I wanted to say about this phrase. And the correct answer, excellent, Lolly, Julia, in general. In general, and I think you should do this, you should review new vocabulary every so often. It's part of spaced repetition. I'm a big believer in that. Learn something new, go back, review it, a couple of days later, go back the following week, review it, and then the following month, and you're really making it a part of your active memory, and then you can, over time, you'll make it a part of your long-term memory, and you won't even need to think about it. You're having a conversation, and you'll just use these phrases, well, in general, blah, 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 blah. Now, I told you I was about to say it because I've noticed, and this is something I think I use it too often, because when I go back and I look at some of these videos, these live lessons, or I'm editing another filmed video, I use this phrase quite often. I think I overuse it because I catch myself, gosh, I keep saying in general, in general, in general. I think it's because as an instructor, I'm constantly trying to, well, teach and share information, and that's why I would say, well, in most situations, this is how you would use this word, or this is the context in which you're going to find this phrase being used, which is why you may hear me say in general too much. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put that out there. It's not something that only second language learners do. Native speakers often overuse different words and phrases. It is something that happens, and you just try to avoid it. You understand that, and then you can avoid it. Wow, Cinderella, thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. That is amazing. I'm glad that these lessons are useful, and you all are learning new things, and you can actually go out and try to use this vocabulary or the grammar or the pronunciation, whatever it is that I try to teach you in order to help you improve your fluency goals. Because in general, that is what these lessons are all about. It is about helping you achieve your goals, move to take that next step towards fluency, and so that you feel more comfortable and confident speaking English. I see people answering the question. I haven't even read the sentence. I'm kind of rambling. When she received news of her acceptance, such a happy moment, she into to suddenly start crying. This is a phrase, it is, I guess you could say, a common collocation, because this verb is not one that is often used. So if somebody starts crying, well done, Manuel, Katerina, Takayo, she burst into tears. When somebody burst into tears, that just means they suddenly start crying. In this example, it's more of a joyous, it is a happy cry. It's not something sad, but if somebody's sad, of course, sure, they can burst into tears. And what I wanted to say is the verb burst. To burst is not the most commonly used verb, but there are some phrases, such as this one, in which I think it is more common to use and say, so, well, somebody burst into tears, they suddenly start crying. I thought this was humorous, and if you've watched some of these lessons, you know that I put these little different memes or whatever in here from time to time. Warning, due to influence of hormones, I could burst into tears or kill you in the next 5 minutes. There's a wide range when it comes to those emotions and those hormones. What do you think? This is the first B1 vocabulary lesson that I have ever done. Amazing, but it is true. I've done so many vocabulary lessons. In general, I'm adding emphasis. In general, I typically will do these more advanced vocabulary lessons, C1, C2, or even beyond that, and really get specific and precise. So this is the first B1 vocabulary lesson that I've ever done. If you enjoy it or you like it, please, you can let me know by hitting that like button. And this phrase has 3 words. Once again, it is more of an introductory phrase that you're going to use at the beginning of a statement when you're admitting something is true. We use this all the time, this phrase in just casual conversation. So I see a lot of the answers. The phrase that I'm talking about is to be honest, as many of you know. To be honest, this is the first B1 vocabulary lesson that I have ever done. So you will often hear this phrase listening to a podcast, YouTube video, watching a movie, TV show. To be honest, very, very useful phrase in casual conversation. How about this one? What do you think? I deleted the picture. What? I think you all know this phrase. There are actually two different phrases that you could use, and the meaning is without intending to or without being intended. Which phrase has that meaning? I deleted the picture, what? So when you want to say that you do something unintentionally, or I end up saying the words as we're going through this because, yeah, they are commonly used words. So if you want to say that you did something without intending to do it, it was a mistake, it was an accident, those are the two words that you would use. However, we need another word in there. We need another preposition. I deleted the picture by accident or by mistake. If you wanted to use an adverb, I see some of those, you could say, yeah, I deleted the picture inadvertently. I deleted the picture accidentally. I deleted the picture unintentionally. Those all work. I think those adverbs are a little beyond a B1 level, but they're still very useful and they would work in that context. So there are different ways that you could express this sentiment, this thought that I didn't mean to do it. I deleted the picture by accident, or I deleted the picture by mistake, or I deleted the picture accidentally, or I deleted it inadvertently. I love that word, inadvertently. So if I want to give you a little more context, if you're just curious, like I sometimes am, about which phrase is more commonly used, it's a little more common to come across by accident. However, you're still going to hear somebody say by mistake quite often, and you could use either one. Both of them are really interchangeable in this context. By accident, by mistake. I saw him stick out his foot. He tripped me, what? To do something intentionally and not by accident. So this is the opposite of what we're just talking about. It's not by accident. Somebody did something. What phrase could we use? Which B1 phrase could we use to say that something was done intentionally? I saw him stick out his foot. He tripped me. You mean to do this thing. And in that case, you could say that you do it. What? 2 words. You guys are rocking this quiz. This is why I think I need to make them a little more challenging, but I thought we'd have some fun and just do some B1 phrases, kind of mix things up a little bit. So the phrase that I'm referring to is on purpose. Well done, Lolly, Julia, Rachel, Katerina, Manuel, Monica, Takayo, everybody rock that one. You're doing something intentionally. It's not by accident. It's on purpose. I saw him stick out his foot. He tripped me on purpose. Phrase that you should absolutely put up here, be able to use. You're having a conversation, and if you want to say something was not done by accident, just say, well, this was done on purpose. It happened on purpose. I did it on purpose. I meant to do this. Take your seat. The show, start. To be going to do something very soon. We're missing a verb, of course, and it's really part of the phrase. And then what other word is missing is start. Another, all of these phrases, but this is another one that I think you should be able to use casually when you're talking to someone and really not have to give this much thought. And these are the building blocks to achieving English fluency. So if you know these, that is awesome. That is perfect. The phrase that I'm talking about, take your seat, the show is just about to start, just about to do something. Now, you do not have to include the word just. You could say the show is about to start, or I am about to ask you another question. And you are about to answer that next question, and you're going to do it on purpose because you mean to do this. You could include just, it's just more of a colloquial way of speaking, just about to do something, but you don't have to. Take your seat. The show is just about to start. Well done. Here are some news headlines just to give you a little context. Just want to switch things up a little bit so that this is just easier to kind of grasp on to these phrases. So I'll just read through these quickly. The world's most luxurious surfing event is just about to kick off. In this context, if something kicks off, it means it begins, it starts. The next one, Ed Sheeran reveals he is just about to move to America. I did not know that. And finally, I'm going to mispronounce this, the Eta Quadrate meteor shower is just about to peak. For any of you who are interested in astronomy out there, you can correct my pronunciation of this meteor shower, but you get the idea. It's just about to peak. So just about to do something. The students, close to the teacher. I hope this is something that you are doing right now. Even though if you're not, I'll never know. I trust you though. But the meaning of this phrase, to watch, listen to, or think about something or someone carefully or with interest. I think in the context of students, teachers, you will hear this phrase being used. Parents, children, people are going to use this phrase. Your boss, talking to other, or even among your colleagues. And you should do this if somebody's up there, they're giving a presentation, and you should listen to this person, listen carefully as to what this person is saying, and therefore you should what? The phrase that we're talking about is to pay attention to. Pay attention to someone. I probably should have put the to because that's what you're going to follow it with. I could just give you a sentence, like a command and say, I want you to pay attention or pay attention. But generally you would say, pay attention to this person or to this thing. The students paid close attention to the teacher. Now, I gave you that close in there because that is a collocation with this phrase. Collocations, something that I talk about a lot on this channel. These are words frequently used together. So if we're just talking about the phrase, pay attention, there are other words that are often used with it. To pay close attention to pay special attention to something, to pay enough attention to someone or something, to pay no attention to anyone. I hope that's not what you're doing. Or to pay particular attention to this person or this thing. These are just some common collocations. It is another excellent way to build your vocabulary. So instead of me saying, right now, I want you to pay close attention, or I was going to say, I want you to pay attention, I can add a little emphasis using the word close. I want you to pay close attention to what I'm about to tell you when it comes to these collocations, because that's just going to help you be a little more precise and continue to build your vocabulary so that you can speak naturally when you're having a conversation. I didn't need my old couch, so I decided to get it. Get is a part of this phrase. I don't know if you can see it's highlighted. The meaning is to remove or throw away something unwanted. You have something, you don't want it. I could say, I'm going to throw it away. I don't know if I would say I'm going to remove it. That sounds maybe a little formal. But this is a more casual way of saying that you're going to, we'll do this. You're going to remove something. You're going to throw something away that is unwanted. You're going to, well done, get rid of it. So you could get rid of something, in which case you are throwing it away, something you don't need. I didn't need my old couch, so I decided to get rid of it. And a lot of times that something may be it, because you've already mentioned the thing in the sentence before, and the listener knows that. And that's why you might be talking about your couch, and then you're going to get rid of it. And you would use it often with this phrase, to get rid of it. Everyone, please, and walk to the nearest exit. Once again, there are, I think, a couple of different phrases that you could say and use to continue to be quiet, peaceful, not worried, especially in a difficult or frightening situation. Oh, Vicky Gustav, thank you. Thank you so much. I love the little coffee, because that's perfect. That is perfect for a morning coffee. Well, actually, I will absolutely use that. I love it. Thank you so much. This is a phrase that, in this context, I think you hear it. I don't know if you're going to use it all the time. I would hope not, because it's like really this maybe sense of urgency. Maybe something's wrong, but you might, if you're addressing a group of people, everyone please, and walk to the nearest exit. You want everybody to be peaceful. You want them to be quiet. You don't want them to worry. You want everyone to, let's look at all the different ways we could say this, to keep calm, stay calm, remain calm. Either one of those verbs you can use with calm, and that really fits this context. Everyone, please remain calm and walk to the nearest exit. So I mentioned this may not be one that you're going to use often. At least, I mean, I would hope not, because that is a troublesome situation. If you're having to tell everybody, look, everybody remain calm or stay calm. There's something wrong. And in that situation, if there is something wrong, you obviously want everybody to keep calm or remain calm. Again, you can use any of those verbs. The meaning is the same. This is, I don't know why I thought this was humorous. Maybe I thought I have a little bit of a darker sense of humor. Of course, the sign should say keep calm, and then they're like that blood setters, and down below it says sometimes it's best to panic. So of course, this is not any type of advice at all. It's always good to keep calm, stay calm, remain calm. No need to worry. I have another question for you right here. I could believe when I saw the garden in full bloom. The meaning of this phrase, to be very surprised. This is a way of basically emphasizing that you are really surprised. And really, you're talking about surprised by something that you see. In the case of our sentence, we're talking about a garden. It's so beautiful. I was so surprised, and I could believe when I saw the garden in full bloom. So the phrase that we're talking about, I could not believe my eyes, or believe your eyes, or believe one's eyes. I could not believe my eyes when I saw the garden in full bloom. To not believe your eyes just means to be very surprised. So you might use it with could, like, I could not believe my eyes when, what? What did you see? I could not believe my eyes when I saw this famous celebrity. Or I could not believe my eyes when I watched my favorite team win the championship. You don't have to use that could not, that construction. You might tell somebody, like I'm telling you, you will not believe your eyes when you see my next video lesson. All right, you're going to be so surprised. You will not believe your eyes. So just keep in mind, we're just using this phrase to mix it up a little bit. Of course, it's very common to say, oh, you're going to be so surprised. You won't believe it. But we're going to add a little emphasis and say, not believe your eyes in this case. So we just talked about 15 B1 phrases. If you knew them, got most of them correct, let me know. Hit that like button. If you learned something new, once again, hit that like button. just hit the like button, just for the heck of it, or smash the like button. Doesn't really matter. It just tells me that you enjoy these vocabulary lessons. I should continue doing them because I do think this is essential, building your vocabulary for achieving a level of proficiency so that you can communicate clearly, effectively with other people. These are phrases that I mentioned already, are kind of the building blocks, so you absolutely need to know these phrases. And yes, remember, click on that link down below if you would like to join my speaking course. And yeah, that's all I have for you. I want to thank you for joining me today. Thank you for participating in the lesson. I love it. And I will see you all soon for another lesson. So long.